Hello. Welcome. Welcome back to MIRRORMOURN. I am your game master, Esper, and we are playing on Saturday instead of Sunday this week. Things are getting pretty tense. It's coming down to the wire. It has now been revealed that giants from their mainland, their main continent of Grootwaders, are en route to Haven Isle and will be attempting to retake what once was traditionally their lands, take it back from the elves. And you all are nearly scrambling now to get yourselves prepared and to try to unify the city, to resist the attack, to try to discover still these caches of crackle powder, this explosive alchemical substance that they're going to be deploying in the assault. Who are the characters, guys, that are in this situation? And we'll get going.
So I'm Warsor, and I play Walykos, the level 7 ranger.
I'm Vince. I'm playing Vapor, the wild magic sorcerer who is level 7.
I'm Nick. I am playing Adriel Mantevel, the level 6 rogue.
And I'm Adam. I'm playing Aygir, the armor artificer who is level 6 or 7, depending on if there was one half milestone last time.
All right.
We're going to say 6 for now.
Yeah, say 6 for now, but I think you'll be hitting 7 pretty soon. Thank you very much, Real Holtzinator. Appreciate the contribution of the gold coins. It is a treat to have you around, as always, as well. All right, everyone. So there are a few different things happening. Let's get to talking about it. You have spoken with Duke Ormond Drakestone of Barnacle. There was a large meeting, and there were a number of different important topics discussed. One is that you are still going to be trying to locate where in the world are these caches of crackle powder. Because if those get deployed strategically, they could cause devastating explosions, particularly when combined with a different alchemical substance called brine star. And it looks like there's a good chance that the enemies are going to be firing brine star coated, like the tips of projectiles coated in brine star into casks, barrels, crates, pots, something of crackle powder. You won a decisive victory at the old Ocean Fortress, so you have at least struck that detrimental blow against your foe. Whatever aid that was going to provide them in the siege or the assault of Haven Isle, that has been quelled, and you've gained a bit of information, some maps, some basic battle plans, and a sending stone that you do not know who it communicates with. Escaping from that battle was who you have learned is a half Emerald Dragon son of Zelex, the full Emerald Dragon that you defeated in a fight. He was piloting some kind of submergible underwater vehicle, which could be absolutely devastating towards traditional ships. What else? There is a point that I forgot to mention during that meeting with the Duke, and it's a very important point. They are sending word out to the other allied towns and the city of Plethoris, petitioning and practically begging for troops and knights and mounts and ships, any support to get to Barnacle as soon as possible, as giants are en route and will... it's not known exactly when they're going to land, but the sense is it feels like it will happen within days or maybe at the most a couple of weeks. It seems like it's impending, lurking on the horizon. So
not to interject, or not to interrupt too much,
yeah.
but just to interject to build off what you said. Plethoris is the capital of all the continent of Haven Isle, right?
It
That's what
actually
king is?
it actually is. The king, no. There are dukes. The king is in Terra Morgana.
Sorry,
that's like the
right.
elves' mainland. Yep.
That's right.
So there's a duke in Plethris as well. So Plethris actually is the largest city. It's in a mushroom forest. But Barnacle is like the main port city. It's a important commercial and historical site. In some ways, Barnacle actually gets more attention in Haven Isle. It's like it has more going on there, so to say, even though Plethris, by sheer number, is a more populated city.
Yeah, Barnacle's the trading port.
Yeah. Okay, so there's Plethris, there is the Tether, there's Sandbeer, Redstone, there's the Farmsteads, and there's some others. So the expectation is that troops from across Haven Isle are going to be rallied and troops marching and ships sailing to defend the entrance, as you can see in the small map there. Well, as the people watching can see, really the entrance, there's only one way to get through the obsidian barrier, which is through the fiery channel, which is then defended by Holmes Gate. And there literally is this massive, like, water portcullis, massive thing that can allow these colossal fire galleons through. Because beyond the blessed waters and beyond the obsidian barrier, it's the sea of lava. Okay, there's a lot I could say, but I want to turn it over to you all, because there's a bunch of things going on with your characters. So why don't we focus in on either Aygir or Vapor to kick off the session?
Well, so I know my thing might be a little long, so if Vapor wanted to go first, that makes sense.
No, go ahead.
No, you go. No, you go. Fine, I'm going to the bathroom. Secretly pays the bill. Well, all right then. So yes, there were two things that Aygir was going to do in the next coming, however long we have. He obviously was going to go and visit Kana's Spindle in the Broken Tower and just say, hey, I didn't die. Last time that we talked, we were talking about, like, one of us might not come back from this, but obviously that was, when we knew the fight was going to be a big fight, but didn't know it was going to be a big fight that we would, like, categorically and decisively come out on top of. So, yeah, he's just going to touch base there and talk about some things that are going on, and then also the craftsmen appointed by House Drakestone that have already presented those that they know, i.e., not Element, Adriel and Walykos, with weapons that they built. They were also working on something for Aygir, and I think he's going to maybe work with them a little bit to help finish that. I know in particular has his eye on taking some dragon bone that they salvaged and making a hilt for a sword and doing some other things with that.
Mm-hmm. So, it is Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hollows who are working on magical armaments for your party. They've already completed Walykos's Staff of the White Raven, Beak of the White Raven, and Adriel's Sword of Speed, which, by the way, we've decided we will go with the original version that I had proposed, which was when you take the attack action, you make an extra attack with that weapon. That way he can still bonus action dual wield, and I was thinking that the bonus action attack plus being able to dodge every round is probably a little too much for just a rare item. So, Corgain, Makel, and Arachno are meeting with your party. You can also meet with Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hallows regarding your item. You mentioned the dragon that you had slain at the giant ocean ruins. Is your line of thinking that you'll be using the dragon's blood as a component to enhance your Sword of Wounding?
Well, so yeah, he has this Sword of Wounding that he found in the Trial of Thrates, or Gauntlet, that's what it's called. which is fine, but it's not the most like bespoke to him. The handle might be probably maybe a little small for his hand. He's probably interested in like recutlering it and maybe seeing if he could somehow enhance the blade or its properties. He's going to use some dragon bone to make a new hilt for it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if the blood can help imbue it with some properties of magic, that would also be useful. I know we have some of it we're allowed. I know a lot of stuff from the dragon was like claimed as public property or House Drakestone property.
Your party were able to claim the choice scales, and there are castle, I guess we'd call them leather workers. There's some kind of armor that deals with, leathers and hides and such. They are making 2 suits of light emerald dragon scale armor. So that'll take a few days to complete those. They're combining the efforts of various craftsmen. And then your party was able to get some amount of bone and dragon's blood, and then the rest of the dragon is going to be.
Yeah.
Seems like it's going to be like a mounted thing, at least the head.
Right. So what Aygir would be doing is
in
helping
terms of the
smiths.
enhancement to your sword of wounding.
Right.
The blood is coming from an emerald dragon. So the effects we can put into the sword can be either just generalized dragon themed. They could also be psychic themed. My suggestion is that the sword has a cantrip imbued into it and a once per long rest or like daily at dawn recharge, a once per day spell up to 2nd level, maybe 3rd level.
Well, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of it maybe tying in somehow with his intelligence modifier, being an artificer. I like the idea of like a cantrip and a spell imbued within it. That sounds good. Do you have any suggestions of Emporium cantrips or spells? I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Which ones would fit some things.
So I'm going to look at the sorcerer list because we can associate sorceress magic with dragons. That's the one that we can associate the most. For the cantrip, psychic snare. That
or
comes
also,
to mind.
I guess necrotic things too, right? Because it's a sort of wounding.
I was thinking more the dragons. Well, okay, that could make sense. So the 2 necromancy suggestions would be the cantrip of chill touch and the spell of ray of enfeeblement.
Right.
What might also be?
Well, I'm looking at. I have my Emporium open, my digital copy. Sadly, my physical one is across the room. But surely there's something in the Emporium that would fit.
Well, I'm looking at
The
first,
sorcerer
second,
ones?
first, second, and third sorcerer. Trying to think of anything that might fit with the draconic theme, psychic, psionic theme, or a necromantic theme, because the Sword of Wounding already has that.
Right.
How about a once per day 3rd level ebb and smoke? It's just damage, but
Right.
maybe you'll like that.
Well, I mean, ranged attacks while using a sword are not something it's that easy for him to come by.
It would
which
be
one? That's which one again?
Ebb and smoke. It would be a 60-foot range, 5-foot radius puff of black smoke originating from a point you can see within range. At a 3rd level spell, it would be 4d8 necrotic, half damage on a successful con save.
That makes sense. That seems
wait,
to...
I got one, the real good one for you guys. Look at Veiling Strike in the Emporium. It's cast time, bonus action, self. The first time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends, the weapon draws an illusionary veil over the target's senses. Attack deals an extra 3d6 psychic damage, and you become invisible to the target until you make an attack cast a spell or stop concentrating on the spell.
That
You can
really
concentrate
fits.
up to 1 minute.
Concentrate up to a minute. Yeah, that really fits considering
That's good
Zelex
spotting.
was
And
a
I know it says
psychic,
it's an illusion,
invisible
but-
going, invisible turning.
Right.
It's a bonus action too, which fits in really well with your action economy if you're using the sword to attack someone.
And bonus actions are something that Aygir does not already have very many of.
Okay.
Once
So
per
that
day,
makes a lot of
that's
sense.
perfect. It's kind of like I'm in a fight, I need to pull out my special attack. And you can concentrate up to a minute to remain invisible. So you don't have to keep attacking them. You could hit them, go
Right.
invisible, reposition, heal yourself, whatever you need to do. And then get your advantage attack when you drop it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So this is
This
would be by
you
itself,
become
or it also be a
invisible
cantrip?
to that target.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
you put an illusion that veils that target to you.
well. The nice thing is that there's no saving throw for that target. They
Right.
just
Yep.
Right.
it deals extra damage because you have to hit with the attack, but
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah,
pretty
and that's
good.
it. It's sort of like the smite spells,
Yes.
where you
A little
spin the
bit.
bonus action and empower the
Right.
weapon, and then you can keep trying, and then once you finally hit, then the effects
That
happen.
is mechanically, as the Artificer or Artificer, how you pronounce
I
it, is
think that's
written.
real good.
That's very, very on theme.
Cool. I
And
thought
then
that
for
I
a
was just
cantrip, you
thinking-
could do Chill Touch. We all know that one, or Psychic Snare. It's a Wisdom save. On a fail, they take. Let's see. At this level, they take 2d6 Psychic, and then if they take a hostile action against you before the end of your next turn, they take an automatic 2d6 Psychic again.
Right.
We
Well,
also
given
take
how,
there's
uh,
that one
yeah.
cantrip that's it's like D4 damage, but it also it's like a D6 damage, but it does a 1d4 to their saving throws. if
Okay,
they-
the one that Vapor
the
has, the mind lash,
sliver.
mind whip,
Mind sliver.
mind sliver.
Mind sliver.
There we
Mind
go.
spike. Or
Mind
something.
sliver.
Sliver.
No, sliver. You're right.
Mind
you're
spike
Yeah,
is like a third
um,
or second level.
Right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Carter Hawkness knew that. I know that spell. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that one's tactical. It's an intelligence save
True.
too, which is
Yeah.
why it's kind of
Unless there's some reason you would think that there's something other than a psychic theme also that should be added, like a necrotic theme or like a dry theme or a wet or
There's also Blade
lightning.
of Death from the Emporium.
That's a cleric one though.
It is a cleric one, but it is a
anyway.
necromancy cantrip.
We can nail this down not on camera so that people
Sure.
don't have to watch us
So
just debating this, but-
we can understand that the dragon's blood and some of the bone, along with the sword, are
Right.
delivered to Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hallows, and they have a couple assistant acolyte mages as well, or apprentice mages.
Right.
So it's like a focused effort to get this done quickly. It will probably take them a couple days, and the sword will have a once per day Veiling Strike, and then a cantrip of Psychic Snare, unless you change your mind beforehand. And then Vapor's Shard. You got this shard from the flotilla. Actually, Walykos was the one that went out into the flotilla and did the bartering, and then he brought it back for you. And supposedly this shard taps into wild magic, or is a sort of catalyst for wild magic. And you've had this thing on your person for a while, but have never quite figured it out. Would you like them to take a look at it?
I was thinking on that. I was thinking Vapor would bring it to them, as well as some of the dragon bones, see if they can make something new out of it. Because he hasn't figured out how to use it, but he knows there's something powerful with it.
You've brought them a dragon bone and this otherworldly shard, this kind of extraplanar crystal, and you ask them. Go ahead. Tell me. You're speaking with them now. You and Aygir are speaking with both of them now. They're consulting with you because they've finished Walykos's and Adriel's items.
All right, so then we're doing this in character. So, yes, I'd like to sound that it is good to use these, but what of Vapor? What of you?
Well,
You had something for them, right?
yes, well, like you, Dragonbone and Dragon Blood would know of powerful ingredients in anything with those combined. But I have this as well, and he pulls out this almost rainbow-like shard and places it down. Had it for a while, know it's powerful, but do not seem to know how to tap into it correctly or how to tap into it at all. Perhaps adding it in will increase whatever you're creating.
If you could cook the dragon's blood in alembic, then I'm sure the steam, the vapor, if you will, should soak through it a bit more. It's not very porous, but that could help, right? Could reawaken something in it.
Let me see this. Duncan Mantevale walks across the meeting room there in the Storm Tower and looks at the shard, and it has a variety of different colors in no pattern at all. They're not even necessarily like a gradient or effect. They're sort of, well, wild and swirling, and you can swear that it looks a little different than the last time you saw it. Like the colors and the swirls have shifted in some way. Well, you know that I, for some time, had my misgivings about wild sorcery, Vapor, but given all that you have proven and the desperate times that we're in, this is a risk we're willing to take. We have the components taken from the body of the Emerald Dragon, these vials of blood and these bones here. Is your thought for us to form this into some variety of wand?
Wand or magical staff of some sorts that I can use.
It is beyond our purview, but we would be willing to give it our best attempt.
Oh, anything's better than nothing. All I can say to that.
There's quite a difference, you must understand, between wizardry and what flows in your blood, says Crispin Hallows. It is not entirely different, of course, but, well, what I work with are controlled procedures that have been time-tested, taught and handed down from one teacher to the next throughout many years in the great elven tradition. I
learn through experience. And
you are a floodgate.
Anyone would have put what I am. I've been seeing myself more as a storm, calling upon the energies around me to strike at what I need to.
That is the closest that I think I would be able to relate. Here we are at the Storm Tower after all. Well, we will be working with every hour that we can spare on these two items, and we will send word just as soon as there are any developments in this process. With luck, they will take 2 days per item, and that is us devoting just as much time as possible along with our assistants.
Oh, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm going to hell.
Oh, that would be phenomenal.
Aygir, before you do that, I seem to discover something else I can do, and I could use your help.
What is that?
Well, I'm having to go experimenting with my magic, and I need you with your miraculous note-taking to track what I'm doing.
Well, I'll let you do what it is you are doing, and I will come help assemble the final product once you've done your magic. I don't know how to work Dragon's Blood myself, so I'll be back in a day or two, and do tell. Shall we go to the Arcane Sanctum or the Broken
I think
Tower?
that'd be best.
Very well.
So Vapor is going to explain what he's feeling, and this is technically, I believe because this is the new spell that he's picked up. Dimension Door, and he just wants Aygir's help trying to figure out how the spell works.
All right, that seems like a nice little interlude.
Yeah, because he knows Aygir's creative and stuff like that, great note taking. So with him and them experimenting, he could figure out exactly what his magic is trying to show and tell him.
Sure. All right.
So it is a day of magical experimentation, crafting here at the Storm Tower with you two and the Master of Rituals and the Tower Wizard and their apprentices. We're gonna cut. I'm trying to get things to be more back and forth.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut to Adriel. You have been tasked by Belvander to assassinate your grandfather, the Master of Rituals, Crispin Hallows, the Tower Wizard of your family, to hopefully gather information or find out in whatever way, whether you're interrogating them or searching for some documentation or whatever, where they put the fragments of Deathsting, the legendary blade forged by Belvander that the Night Stalker was wielding. And to top that all off, to frame or implicate the Merocrats in this killing. What does Adriel think about that? What is he doing? Is he brooding? Is he pacing? Is he biting his nails?
Yeah, he's definitely a bit agitated, I'm sure. Just trying to figure out a way of, dealing with all of this because, killing is one thing, but framing a killing is another, and then getting away with the killing and the framing is also a whole other factor as well. I think for Adriel, he's probably thinking that the best way to probably eliminate at least one of them while also framing is probably through poison. But obviously Crispin and Duncan, my grandfather, they're both very powerful mages or clerics or however, so they may be able to cure it. I know that I think it was, I don't remember if it was Barnacle or if it was another city, but I did find like sort of a criminal underground area at one point that I could potentially procure some kind of like really effective poison. Also, that would be Adriel's first kind of idea of going, because he doesn't have a poisoner kit, so he might go out and try and find someone who could do this for him, right? Someone who is really skilled in poisons.
You had spoken to some shady characters at it was a sort of fume hovels. Actually, there was a fume hovel called Wild Love at the southern end of Havensport, and there was a spirit well, which is essentially a kind of dwarven tavern called Sappy's Sink, and you had spoken to a dwarven fellow there and had made a contact if you were to bring in Fearbulg produced drugs.
Yeah.
Grovesheen.
Yeah, he seemed to be more of a smuggler, though, I believe, right? So less of like a poison expert.
Yeah,
here's a
he
question
seemed to
for
be
you.
a kind of criminal contact.
Yeah, here's yeah, I guess I would go back there. Obviously, unfortunately, I don't have any of the grow sheen, but I might be able to maybe give him some coin or something to maybe make him a little bit happier about me not having the product and maybe talk my way out of it. But I mean, this is my only contact at the moment in Barnacle at the moment, at least. So that's probably my best bet to kind of go back into that area.
You make your way alone to the eastern portion of the southeastern portion of Barnacle. We're getting into the Shackled Downs, the poorest slum type district of Barnacle. And you have to knock on a back door, and there was a passphrase you had to give in using Thieves' Cant. And you go down into this underground tavern, a dwarven-styled place. That's why they're called Spirit Wells. Sappy's Sink, with the table master Nimrod, son of Sappy. And you again speak to... Oh my.
I might have it written down.
Oh my.
somewhere.
Yeah, there was a name for this character, and I thought it would be right there.
Find my notes.
You know what? What I did was I accidentally mixed two different things in my head. It was a gambling den where you spoke to that dwarf. His name is Craw. Yeah.
Oh, I do have that written
Yeah.
down. I just found it. Yeah.
Sappy's Sink is where there was
yeah.
that fight, and like Walykos, I think it was Walykos, or was it you? Like punched somebody.
That was me.
Yeah, that was you. Okay. And Walykos, I think, was like
This was
playing backup.
This was like, I think it was like this was like right before I got attacked by the Night Stalker, I think.
Yes. Okay.
If I
So you
remember
return.
correctly, yeah.
Sorry, not to Sappy's Sink, but to Jandor's place, a gambling den. Yeah, there's a faded painting on an alley wall of the skeletal king on a throne with a sword through his bony chest. The doorkeeper says, "No more beggars." To which you respond, "I am not here to beg. I'm here to buy."
I'm here to buy.
Yeah.
Yep, I have it in my notes.
Jandor is the table keeper here at Jandor's place, and so you go into a gambling den. Let me see. I think I have a different.
Yeah, I have it written down as.
There we go.
Oh.
Okay, I like this better. And you speak to Craw, a rather large dwarven fellow with long, scruffy hair. A fence, a contact of smugglers and other miscreants of the underbelly of Barnacle. "You're coming back to me, I see," he says
yes.
in his not perfect Elvish.
Yeah. I'll respond. I'll say, yes, it's been quite a while, Craw. How have you been?
Things have been not so good. I am to hope for you come on giving this Grove Sheen and make the month turn well. He looks you up and down expectingly.
Yeah, I will. I assume maybe I have like a drink or something. I'll take a swig of of whatever I have, and I'll say, Craw, I unfortunately have some bad news. My contact for the Grove Sheen did not follow through, unfortunately, and I don't think I'll be able to. Sorry, Adam. I don't think I'll be able to procure any significant amounts of it for the foreseeable future. As soon as I get word from my contact,
he utters some dwarven curse and looks as though his hopes are shattering before his very eyes.
I'll kind of pat him on the shoulder, be like, but my friend, listen, I do at least have some gold and some items for perhaps a trade. I am looking for something that you may be able to help me find, if you're willing.
I can find some things. What do you look?
I'll kind of look around a bit, make sure no one's listening in on us, and make sure no one's watching us.
You've definitely drawn the attention of some people because you're not a regular here.
Mm-hmm.
So no one's staring at you, but
Yeah.
some people throw glances curiously.
Mm-hmm.
There are. It's not a large place. It's an underground kind of like stony, masoned, walled, dwarven architecture-looking place. It's dank. It's somewhat dim. It's not large. So just imagine like there's this main big table where Jandor has his victuals and drinks and such that he sells, and then there are some other tables where people are, dicing or rolling bones or playing cards.
Yeah, I'll kind of
Smoky, dank, crowded, dim.
I'll kind of get in a bit on Crawl and so that no one else can really hear us and only he can hear me, and I'll kind of whisper.
He smells
and say,
wonderfully of body odor.
Of course. And I'll whisper in his ear and say, I need to procure some very powerful poison.
Come on now, you are not my bad mate for talking to me and sticking tongue in my ear.
Apologies, I just don't want anyone to overhear us.
You are suspicious, eh? Why so suspicious?
Better to be wary of strangers than to trust them. You never know who might be listening in.
Just tell me what is you are trying for.
I need some extremely powerful poison. Something that will be effective even against the strongest of wizards or mages or clerics.
Something for eat?
Eat, drink, eat or drink, whatever you can find me. Something that will be absolutely effective, though. No cure.
Well, maybe I can talk somebody for this. When you need it.
Out of game. So the meeting with the Merocrats is tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me think. Do we know what time? Is it like early in the day, later in the day?
Midday.
Midday. All right. I'll say if possible, tomorrow morning would be the best. But I understand that this is an extremely quick request, so as soon as possible, if not tomorrow.
I see. Well, is a very short time what you ask. Maybe I cannot find, or maybe is very big cost.
How much are you thinking?
I don't know how much you can make. No, how much offer can you make?
Oh goodness, Adriel does not have much gold on him. Adriel doesn't have much gold on him right now. Let me think. I will. I'll
It is nice sword you have here. You want to make trade?
I kind of breathe in a bit and say, I'd rather not give up this sword, and I will pull out my coin purse and I'll put the pouch on the table. It's only got 15 gold in it, which I know is not too much. But then I will also pull out, oh man, I'll pull out my not the new blade I got, but I will pull out a short sword +1 because I do have a +1 short sword as well. So I'll put my 15 gold pieces on there and I'll pull out the +1 short sword and say, that's the amount of gold I have at the moment, and this short sword is worth a pretty penny as well.
Yeah. Is good sword. He gives the coin purse a little toss. Is my fee here, and is sword for trade, looking very nice. Maybe I can find something.
I would be very grateful if you could. The short sword is yours if you can.
You want him to keep it? Hold on to it?
I'll say the short sword is yours if you can, and as I was not able to get you the Grove Sheen, I'll leave you with it, assuming you return.
Yes. We are talking again tomorrow then. Morning time here is not open in this hour, but I answer the door still.
That works perfectly for me, Carl. I appreciate it. And I'll pat him on the shoulder and say, again, I apologize for the Grove Sheen, but hopefully this makes up for it.
Is something you can still obtain at later time.
Yes, if you're not able to get it to me tomorrow, then...
Grove Sheen is maybe you can have another time, yes.
Yes, the Grove Sheen. Yes, as soon as I can get it from my contact, I 100% will let you know.
Then we are speaking once again on the morrow.
That sounds wonderful. I'll be here as soon as I can.
When you are leave, please tell Jandor to come my table.
Will do. And with that, I'll stand up. I'll leave the +1 short sword with him. Hopefully he doesn't rob me. He seems to be... I mean, he was here. He seemed to be fine. We'll see how it goes. And then I will let Jandor know to go over to Carl's table as I leave.
Yeah. What does he want?
Something about a job or something of that nature. Best to speak with him about it.
Jandor is a dwarven fellow with a bristly black beard and eyebrows that make him look like he's always in a bad mood. And he mutters something frustratedly and, steps. You see him heading in the direction of Kraw's table, kind of hollering at him in Dwarven. What about Walykos? Walykos, you've spoken with Corgain, Makel, and Arachno, and there's a lot of thought being put towards, where should we be searching. You know that the City Watch is going to be doing a thorough search of Strong Castle starting today. It will probably take them a long time because it's just such an expansive place.
But the thing was, I now have the ability to locate object, which could be used on crackle powder. We narrowed it down to certain places that we think, are more likely to be targeted. So I was going to pick an area off a list and roll the dice, as it were. I am a little concerned. So I know that Nick is doing a lot of stuff on his own. Adriel's doing a lot of stuff on his own. Does he tell Walykos at all where he is? Like, you just keep vanishing. It's kind of like, I'm just trying to build up a precedent. Walykos has noticed that you seem to kind of go off and be doing your own thing. Whereas before we were almost inseparable in terms of, always going and doing shenanigans together.
Yeah, no, I think that Adriel probably would not be telling you where he went. Because he almost
just vanished, right?
Yeah, he just kind of vanished, like went
for
into
a couple hours here and there.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess like he eventually would have returned. Like after talking with Kral, he would have come back to the to our home, and if you were there, maybe there's an interaction. If not,
Well,
then yeah.
do you offer any explanation for where you've been? Not me prying into it. I'm just asking, does Adriel, when he comes back, say where he's been, or does he just kind of hope that no one asks?
I think he just hopes no one asks. Like, he just kind of goes in and maybe starts like sharpening his blades or managing his armor or things of that nature. Like, not just hoping, be like, I'm like, basically like, I'm back. Don't worry about it, right? Things like that.
Well, Walykos isn't going to question you about it at this time. I just want to build up the precedent in my head of what these, because eventually there may come a point where it's like he keeps disappearing. That's kind of strange, and things might happen while you're gone that matter.
Yeah, no
timeline wise.
Yeah, I think sometimes he might. I'll try and remind myself to let you know if I do or don't.
Okay.
I think for this one though, he probably wouldn't, just because after talking with Belvondor, he's very like kind of skittish, and he's just like, I need to do this stuff, and like he's maybe even forgetting that people are his friends, like people know
People
what he's doing.
People might notice that he's going
he's
off
acting
alone.
Strange. Yeah, like, so he's probably forgetting some of those because he's like, I gotta do this, right? I gotta.
Oh no, trust me, I know all too well when you're under time crunch, and like people expect something of you. You start like, am I forgetting something? Shoot, I probably am. But I can't remember every detail.
Exactly. Yeah. So he wouldn't have said anything about this one, at least.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Back to Esper's question, though. What is Walykos doing? I think that for today, I should try and pick 2 things off the list. I think that's how many. I have 3 spell slots for locate object.
I'm going to go ahead and say this out loud. That way it's for the benefit of everybody. Yeah. So there are some locations that your party and all your allies have narrowed the searching down to.
Yes.
It's partially just a process of elimination. These are places that have not really been searched. And it's also partially, these seem to be strategic locations. If they had crackle powder somewhere else, it just doesn't seem like it would cause as much of a detriment were there a big explosion. So we already know that the City Watch, which is, at the moment, it's a lot. They're actually putting like half of all their forces. They've got 40 guards plus 160 conscripts currently, and Source's Flay captaining, currently at Strong Castle.
Yep.
And they are going into private residences. They are looking in all the public plazas and all these interior spaces, through utility tunnels, through connecting corridors.
They're just doing a sweep.
They're doing a major sweep. Yeah. The 2 magic users, Duncan Mantvale and Crispin Hollows, they're busy working on these magic items because your party has become so crucial.
Yeah, you can't just pull them away for search without having more specific information. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just go through the list of locations. Please. You could aid in the searching of Strong Castle and help speed up that process, because that's going to be a long process. There is Long Keep, which is, from Strong Castle, that long bridge, and then the actual keep proper where the royalty stays, where the Duke stays. Not as big as Strong Castle, but still a large number of halls and corridors. And he has like royal guards and knights looking through that. So if you help them, they would probably get done with that just today.
Yep.
Okay, so if you get out of there and you go towards the eastern side of the city, and you're now in what we might consider Merocrat territory, there's Haven's Port, which is a big port with all kinds of various buildings and shops and all the, wharf docks and like ships and boats. There's the Sea Palace, which that is the actual seat of the Merocrat governing power. It's more a palace in name. It's not technically a palace. It is beautiful, but it's really not properly a palace. Just like how Porcelina, the Sea Queen, is not actually a queen. So they're more, terms of endearment, you might call them, or monikers. Okay, so that's the east. And the south, which is in the Shackle Downs. You all have actually done a lot of searching in the City Guard in the Shackle Downs, the Slums District. So we've really got it narrowed down. There's just some specific places that seem like they would be strategic or could possibly be an issue. There's an apothecarium. Blade Danton's house. He is one of the main rabble-rousers amongst the low-born folk. Wyla Hooster's house, who also is one of the rabble-rousers. There's the cooperage, which is where barrels and crates are made. There's the smithy, blacksmith, and there is a tannery.
I think I've decided.
Stinking place where they make leather and stuff.
Yeah, I think I've decided where I will spend the rest of today's, focus on at the very least. I would like to go to Strong Castle and assist with the searching there, using my magical powers to try and hit, the massive amount of private residences, walk up and down streets with my big detect object, going off.
Sure. Mainly it's interior, but there are some like outdoor terrace areas, and there are some like, exterior grounds and gardens and walkways.
The barrels aren't going to be in plain sight. So I'm assuming that they're going to be in someone's, basement or in a interior of a building. So I'm going to try to cover and not. I don't want to redundantly walk the same area. I want to walk up the street, down the next, so it overlaps.
There'd be a lot of like halls and corridors, and they're lined with lots of doors. The whole thing is contained within this massive giant's castle of old, converted into. In modern terms, we might compare it to like a condominium or a massive apartment complex.
I got you.
You go there, and there is a lot of activity.
Let me know how to do my stuff.
Yes.
And I know that the rest of the group is busy, so Walykos is doing this alone. Although I feel like if Adriel had been there, he would have asked Adriel to come with him, but Adriel ran off too quickly, so he's probably thinking to himself like, I wish Adriel was here. Maybe I'll talk to him, and ask him where he was, or what he's doing later.
There are quite a lot of people outside of their residences and gathering in some of these public spaces, interior halls and gathering spaces. Some of them are quite nice areas. And there are these conscripts just all over, elven fellows, and even some women too, that they're not, foot soldiers. They're not properly trained guards with like a lot of equipment. They are common folk of the city, or even minor nobles, but they are of physical capability to put up some kind of a fight and to assist the guard. So they've been. This is about half of all the conscripts that are within House Drakestone's purview, and there are some guards as well who are, going about in a semi-organized fashion. Some of them are like with these kind of scroll ledgers, trying to keep tabs on everything and, make notes of where has been searched and who they've talked to.
Sources
Flay is around. You can go find him if you need.
Let me coordinate with him because I don't want to waste, time walking. If they know for sure, like we've searched top to bottom, this corner, let me get the most effective route. Because I have 3 castings of the spell, but I don't want to just waste them.
It has a range of 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet, exactly.
Which is like a radius off of you at the center.
Correct.
Which is that's a lot. And it's a concentration spell that goes for up to 10 minutes. Yeah. So it's quite a nice asset. And of course, it does have some limitations compared to like physically looking at things. But
I did notice that the only thing that seems to block it in this edition is lead, a thin sheet of lead.
Yep.
Walls don't do it like they kind of did in the old edition, as far as I can tell.
So it's a great boon has some limitations, but really a fantastic tool
Maybe I'll get
in
lucky.
your arsenal. So you speak with Sorcerer Flay. You kind of go over again what the spell does. He saw it some when Duncan Mantevale cast it to help find the Death Sting and find the Night Stalker.
And how mine would work, I feel, is like I hover a feather above my palm, and it kind of does like a compass thing. And if it and it just keeps spinning, but if it ever detects the object, it locks on and points, towards the object.
Okay, great. So you're walking, and Sorcerer Flay would be happy to accompany you because, reports all funnel to him. So you think you get a more comprehensive understanding of where.
And I'm happy if he wants to come with me, because then he's directly there getting fresh reports.
Yeah, you'll have sources, a couple guards, a couple conscripts, just for some.
And he can even redirect people away from where I'm searching, because barring a thin sheet of lead covering all the barrels, hopefully, I'll be able to eliminate a huge area of search for him. So.
You visualize the crackle powder in your mind, and you incant the spell with your divine magic that you have, and the feather begins to hover above your palm and slowly drift in circles, and you pace throughout some public spaces and along these halls that at regular or semi-regular intervals have the front doors to people's private residences. And you can cover quite a bit if you're just, walking, pacing through while you're concentrating.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're not rushing it, but you are
I'd
walking
be going
as
at
you
my
concentrate.
normal 35-foot speed.
There you go.
A little bit faster than most people walk, but it's kind of like if you're power walking, I guess, is how I imagine it.
Okay, sure. So this happens for quite some time.
Yeah.
Are you willing to go into your second casting? You haven't got anything yet on the first casting.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for the day, to help.
Okay. Once more, this location is it's the largest structure in all the city. It was the giant's castle. Like 20-foot tall giants used to live in this place. So it's just ridiculously big with huge ceilings.
Which is why it's the best place to hide a needle, in this haystack of Strong Castle. So I'm hoping that I can just kind of get a magnet over the haystack and, narrow it down, maybe.
Are you willing to go into the third casting?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
And I even have some tricks.
Sorcerer
left.
Flay is continuing to accompany you.
Yep.
And you're into the third casting. The feather does something different this time. You've been walking along for a couple minutes. This whole time it's just been gently floating, turning. And this time it jitters a little bit. It doesn't completely stop, but it almost stops, and it is indicating a certain direction. And you feel, imagine like if someone casts Detect Magic and they're detecting a very faint aura of magic. It's like that. You feel a very faint detection. And you go in that direction, and it does lead towards the door of a home that it's not a home that's been searched yet. And the guards, they bang on the door, and City Watch! And everyone in Strong Castle by this point knows what's going on. So it's no surprise. The person who answers isn't like, "What are you doing here?" It's there is a man. This is not a noble's residence. So this is a working class, tradesman, merchant type class fellow.
If I may, can I have concealed the thing? I want to stand behind the guards so he can't see that there's magic indicating, because that may influence his response. He may try to bluff or whatever, but I don't want him to know that we this is anything more than a random search. So I want him at the least guarded that he could be.
Okay. You conceal the feather in your palm, and you stay behind some of the guards. And
stay behind them. Yeah.
Yeah. The man who lives here is a tradesman. He works. He works with his hands. Mm-hmm. And he lives here with his wife, and he has a family with some children. And you discreetly check on the feather, and it's still going in a general direction, not a strong point, but it kind of jitters, and it's not rotating anymore.
Well,
and
I was
so,
going to ask, if I triangulate, if I move a little bit around his house to the back, does it keep pointing past his house, or is it pointing into his house?
Further into the house.
Okay, then let's go with it.
It reminds you, the layout reminds you of when you went into the household where the fellow who was the Night Stalker dwelt. Yeah. So small rooms, narrow, like this one narrow hallway, and you follow it, and you get to this back room, and his wife is there. She has this water basin, and she's scrubbing clothing and towels. And that is where you feel the pull. There's this heap of soiled clothes and towels.
I lean and I whisper to Sources, who I'm sure is with me, and I say, I think...
she sees you all coming into this room, by the way. The woman does, and she stands up. Oh, I'm in a dirty mess in here. And she looks a little bit nervous that you've just, happened upon her, and she's...
I'm
not properly dressed or cleaned or anything.
I'm ready to react. I lean into Source's flank and I say, I think we should take her out of the room. I don't want her to set off the barrels if she's in on this. Separate her, have a guard.
I need you to come out, madam, please. Oh dear, is there something amiss? And she seems rather concerned, and is trying to,
stall.
Not stall. No, she's not stalling at all. She's very cooperative, but she has an attitude of, I don't know what's happening, and what is there something wrong? And please,
have an officer sit with her and just keep her calm is the way to do that.
Yeah, she's. Without literally saying the words, kind of pleading that I'm innocent. That's the attitude you're getting off of her.
Of course, and I think there'll be some interesting questions that we can get out of her. I just want to confirm that the barrels are there. So I motion.
You're not finding any barrels per se. I mean, there would be some buckets and basins and stuff of their home utility. But this clothes, this pile of clothes and soiled rags and towels.
I point to it and I say to Sources, under there. Yeah.
You all look through, and it's just a pile of soiled cloth.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I've got an idea. I think I understand what's going on here. Whose clothes are these? I think they have crackle powder residue on them.
So we got the husband and the wife there. They've got their kids, not interrupting. They're the household clothes and wash rags.
Whose household?
Ours.
These clothes are yours.
I am a carpenter by trade, says the man.
Have you done any business lately with barrels or anything that do you know what crackle powder is?
No. I've never heard that. No. The wife? No.
Like to make any sort of insight check that I can, just to see if they're trying to play innocent. Is that okay, Esper? Or...
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Nat 20. 25.
Wow. All right.
It bounced a couple times and then the 20 show. Yeah.
They seem like they're being just natural. And...
Are they hiding something?
Yeah, they don't seem like they're hiding anything.
Okay. I want to sniff the, I know this is kind of weird and gross maybe, but I just want to smell if I can smell the crackle powder because it has a distinct scent, right?
It does. Make a perception check.
Oh, I'm good
And
at
this can
perception.
be representing you searching and smelling through this
Yeah.
pile of clothing.
Oh my god, another nat 20. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Holy shit.
You...
That's 31. By the
Oh
way.
my goodness, all right. You come across this one dirty rag. It's just this dirty, soiled, oily, crusty rag. And there's just this trace of crackle powder on it.
I hold the rag up and I go to them and I show them, do you recognize this?
It's just one of the rags. I've used that rag for a few weeks now, just cleaning off my apron and my tools.
If your apron, your tools, when, exactly when you were doing this, would it have come into contact with a powder? Did you notice any substance that you cleaned off that was like, I described to him crackle powder.
I don't work with anything like that. Mainly I work with wood.
Does anyone else here live
sawdust
with you that would
and oils.
Yeah. Does anyone else use your tools? Does anyone else use these rags and things? Your family, you, anyone, partners?
God. I don't think so. I don't remember any of my fellows borrowing a rag from me. It's just a rag.
Yeah, this is very important. Like, this is concerning all the searching that's been going on in Strong Castle. We need to find out exactly how this got on your rag.
Well, let's see. I don't know. Who
Think
remembers
back,
just
think-
a rag? Well, I've carried it around since the last wash. It's been a few weeks.
Few weeks.
Cleaned my tools and my apron. I've got a nice leather apron.
Where's your workshop?
Well, it's not mine. I go to work, and he describes a place where like other tradesmen and construction workers, they
Is
like
it in
a
Strong Castle?
crafting hall, a guild hall.
Yeah, is it in Strong Castle?
It is. I didn't get the apron there though. I purchased it because I was able to find a good deal. I purchased it from a leather worker in the Shackle Downs.
In the Shackle Downs. What's the name of the leather worker?
Oh, I see. It's Flynn, Bradley Flynn.
I know that name. I turned to like sources. I think he knows it as well, right? The tannery.
He sources, kind of flips through. He's got a bunch of papers. He's trying to keep organized, and rolls over. He's on the list still. The tannery in Shackle Downs.
I think we should pay him a visit, perhaps. If you said that you got this apron from him, is the apron also detecting?
I bought the leather apron from him. I needed a new one. It's just been a couple weeks since I bought it from him.
I think that probably what happened is there was still some crackle powder residue, and he can't get it all out.
I think I cleaned off the apron with that rag.
Yeah. Okay. I looked to sources. I think you should, just question them a little bit more, just see if there's any connection. But I think that we're probably good here. There's only a residue. It's not like, there's a lot of crackle powder in the building. So I wouldn't waste more than like one.
Master, madam, we thank you very much for your cooperation. We might have additional questions for you. And we will pay you another visit or summon you in that case. We're going to need to take this rag with us. And do you have the leathern apron you spoke of?
Yep.
Yes, it's just it's in the closet over there.
Here, I'll
We're going to need to take that as well.
Yeah.
We'll return it to you at some point.
Yeah, on my personal funds, just because I know it's an inconvenience, can I give them like a silver or something small to just kind of be like, sorry for the inconvenience, but we'll, buy yourself a new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you give him some money and,
Small money.
It's very considerate of you. Please, if there's anything else we can do to help, we certainly will. Yes, I had no idea that sort of thing was just here in our washroom.
All I ask is for your discretion. Don't go spreading any rumors about this. There is security, This could be dangerous. If
No,
people
no, I
find out.
won't tell a soul.
Very good. All right, sources. Let's hit the street.
Once you get out of the place and you can kind of speak privately, Sorcerer looks and gives a nod. You never fail to amaze me. You and all the Vanguard.
How so? I don't think that there's anything that amazing.
We'd have never discovered that. Well, perhaps Duncan would have, but... So
it is a thin lead, but sometimes using deduction with the ability can yield results that
we
didn't expect.
should waste no time. I'm going to send off a report in a couple of pages, summon a few more men. Will you be rallying all the Vanguard?
Yeah, let me get them. I can get them together.
At this point, there's no telling what we're going to discover.
I agree.
I don't
But
want
think this
any more
tannery-
surprises that end up overwhelming anyone.
Yeah, I think this tannery is our next lead. Even if the crackle powder isn't there, it was once there potentially, and we can use that to hook us to the next step.
Exactly. Being not there in character, I have nothing to say on the matter, but exactly.
I understand. Sources, can you wait for us? I'm going to gather them.
Yeah.
I would put eyes on the tannery. Just don't go in. Don't be suspicious. Just make sure that he doesn't, run. Is all that I ask. Like an eye or two, just so that we know that he's still there.
I will dispatch a couple of men in plain clothes to keep an eye on the place from a near distance.
They're going to stick out. We know that, we've had this happen before. I would just, again, don't do anything crazy. Just keep an eye on it. Actually,
They'll stay at a certain distance discreetly.
yeah, actually, I was just trying to think, like, people will notice. It might be better if we're not. Watch the places nearby his, but kind of keep him in the fringe, if you know what I mean. That way people think
I have a couple of men that they can pass well as a shackle downer. They've worked on the accent and yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, we don't need to troll the entire shackle downs at least. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go get the Vanguard.
With that, are Aygir and Vapor willing to break away from arcane experimentation and crafting?
Yeah, I feel like maybe finishing the sword is probably the last thing he's doing this session. But yeah, I don't know when that takes place.
Do you take a secondary weapon with you, or do you already have that built into your armor suit?
He has, the integrated ones.
Okay.
I imagine Walykos comes and finds them while they're still experimenting with Vapor's magic, and Walykos hears this crack of lightning, and then Vapor just shouting,
Blast it! You're going to melt my face off with that!
Is it safe to come in?
It's always safe. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm fine.
That is not accurate at all, Aygir, and you know it. That's always safe.
I am always safe. I make sure that nothing that I'm doing can ever hurt me.
Well, yeah,
I'll
remind you of those
exercise
words.
as much caution as you need.
I will remind you of those words in the future. But hey, guys, I need you. I think I know where the crackle powder is.
Oh, you
or
have a new
where
feed?
it might. Yeah, I have a strong lead. Confirmed crackle powder was there at one point.
So this is in the Arcane Sanctum, so we're not in front of prying eyes at the moment.
And where is our good friend Adriel?
Is Adriel available?
It's a good
Yes.
question.
Are you rejoining the rest of the group?
That's a good question.
Assume that you did your stuff. This is
yeah.
now the after you did
So
your stuff.
if I've done my stuff, we had planned to meet, right? If we had planned to meet, then Adriel would have gone. But I
So
don't
I
know
can
if
ask
that
you
was
this
planned.
question
Yeah.
regarding Adriel. Does he want to devote time towards attempting to procure the poison, or getting additional funding to pay for the poison, or is what you've already done that's as much as you want to put into it? That +1 short sword, that's as much as you're going to spend, and you're done with that, and you'll just go check on it tomorrow, and you'll join the rest of the party.
Could look into getting more funds for that potentially.
Yeah, that's interesting. It seemed like Craw was happy with the item that I traded for it, but now that you're giving me the option, I'm thinking that maybe I think it'd be best if I rejoined the group, because I think if I didn't rejoin, then it would look even more suspicious, especially if I don't join and then Duncan and Crispin, or not Crispin, goodness, I forgot the name. The two people I have to kill.
Crispin Hallows and Duncan Mantvale.
Oh, it is Crispin. Oh, sorry. Okay, I was right. Yeah, so it'd look a little bit strange if I not helping at all and then they just end up dead. So I will rejoin the group for now, yeah.
Oh, good, Adriel. You're here too. I have a lead on the crackle powder.
Oh, you do? That's wonderful, Walykos.
We need to all go right now, and we need to deal with this today if we can.
Agreed. Lead the way.
I've expended some of my magics for the day, but hopefully with the rest of you there, I won't be too caught off guard. So we head for the Shackle Downs, assuming everyone's ready.
Okay. So the four of you make your way to the Shackle Downs, meeting with Source's Flay, with a cadre of guardsmen, strictly guardsmen, no conscripts to muck things up here. And you're not received well in the Shackle Downs.
Wow.
The folk there strike that. I think things might have changed a bit after the victory.
We
Yeah, I was kind of overthinking over that, or
it's okay.
oversighting that. Yeah, I think that would make a difference. So whereas before people would be standoffish, suspicious, scared, rude, maybe even someone would outright insult you or throw some trash or dung or rotten tomato or something. I think after that victory, that would definitely shift all of that, and there would be some people that actually look at you now as heroes or defenders of the city, and no longer are there just the malcontents decrying House Drakestone. There are still those, but not as many, and some of them have shifted now, and there's this talk that's spreading of giants. Word has been circulating throughout the city, and with this battle that just happened and the dragon, it's that word that maybe before they would have dismissed it as a Drakestone lie has gotten much more credible. So
it's amazing what flying a dead dragon over the city will do.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty damn concrete proof.
Yeah.
And hard to mistake for anything else or fake.
It's not a night and day shift in their disposition towards you, but it has definitely made an impact, and that's noticeable. So there probably isn't any muckslings or insults.
Yeah.
And
There
I
might
imagine
be
there would be some people that
looks.
actually would treat you or look upon you as heroes. When you get to the tannery, that's really where things change. In every sense of the word, it smells awful. You're hit with just this wafting smell that really just smells like excrement and just nasty rancidness. And the guardsmen are plugging their nose and wrapping cloth around their nose. It's just an awful. It's like a slum tannery. It's on the edge of the slum even. They try to keep it pretty far away. And when you get there, there are 2 guardsmen that are wearing commoners' clothes, and they are like physically detaining an elven man, the one who was previously mentioned, Bradley Flynn, and it looks like they've roughed him up a little bit. Like he's got some like strikes on his face, like red marks, and like he's getting a black eye, and he's got like a rip in his clothes.
Yeah, I thought that they weren't going to.
They tried to run.
I see. Well,
we've got the place opened up. Go on and take a look. It's rank in there.
Yeah. Has anyone questioned him yet?
We've tried. He spit at us. He bit. The guard pulls the like his sleeve back, and there's like this nasty bite mark on his arm.
All right, hold him.
If this festers and I die, you are going to the rack.
We're going to ensure somebody can see to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll make sure that you don't... I'll heal you or something when we get out. But, yeah, just hold him there. Don't beat him unconscious, please. We're going to have questions for him.
What's that? No more insults for us, eh? You're all out of insults, are you? Yeah. We got him to shut up, finally.
All right. Well,
so, apparently he was, like...
good work.
Mocking them horribly, and they've roughed him up and calmed him down.
Good. Is Source's Flay there?
He was trying to scurry out of here like a rat.
Is Source's Flay here?
So yeah, Sources is with your group. Yep.
Okay, good. Sources, do you want to help us search?
Let's do it.
So
So you go into the tannery. The place is poorly organized. It's messy. There's vats of all kinds of gross stuff. There's leather in different stages of preparation and curing, and it is a legitimate tannery, and there are some quality pieces that are being made here. And you search throughout the place and the storage round back, and there's a cellar area. It's not a large place. You can actually search it pretty quickly. You find in a back maybe a shed. There we go. In a back shed, there's like a chain and a locked door, and you break that open, and there are barrels inside. It's about half full, and it's pretty clear that some barrels have been moved out. The barrels inside are lead-lined, a thin leaden lining, and they are filled with crackle powder.
Does it seem like this is, based on what we know, like, this doesn't sound like the whole amount?
Right? No, there was definitely...
Yeah, looks like about half of them have been moved out.
Okay.
But you still find a cache of them.
Yeah. But
and,
now we know where they were.
It makes the men really nervous. Really nervous.
This can't be the full amount. We need to find out where they put the rest.
They're really nervous just being next to barrels of crackle powder.
Well,
like if this ignites, it's going to just explode.
Yeah.
Vapor deliberately walks back 60 feet from this.
Get the wild magic out of here! Get the soul.
What do you think I'm walking back for? Let me go see if I can
Aygir,
loosen our friend's tongue.
You don't have any strange gadgets that are going to start shooting off sparks if you push the wrong lever.
No, I do not. Clever. No, I don't put levers on things I carry around. That's not how that works. No.
So they're all very nervous. You should start getting them out. Should we separate them?
Yeah, I think we should. But isn't there some way to make it inert? Do you know some way, Aygir?
So
water or something?
Is that a thing? I know I've studied it. Is getting it wet inactivated or put a damper on it?
Well, it won't ignite if it's wet.
Okay.
It's not going to destroy it. It just while it's you'd have to dry it out for it to be able to.
Sure.
Can we take a bucket of water?
Imagine wet gunpowder.
I was going to say, can we just take a bucket of water and add it to every barrel to dampen
exactly.
it? and then we can move it. That way, someone's not going to just set it off with some crazy, you know, spark.
You spend some time thoroughly damp, and you get all the barrels pried open, and you get the powder dampened and make it all kind of mushy and unable to ignite.
Now, those of you who are with the guard, you should get some discreet wagons that can be covered and hidden. We need to transfer this stuff so that prying eyes cannot see it. It must not be made public, this information.
Adriel, I think we're going to need a good cop, bad cop going on here with this guy. Tannery is full of, like, acidic, like, vats. Is it not, Esper?
Chemicals and dyes.
There's not, like, a vat of acid, but there are substances that would certainly be
there's vats of chemicals.
Vapor's already trying
quite
to
irritating if they got onto you.
Well, you'll get your chance, Vapor, before us. I just wanted to like say that we have a plan as well.
Also, just not to interrupt too much, but remember, they're also. It wasn't just the crackle powder that was part of the plan. There's also Brine Star, now, something that when added makes it even more.
But the Brine Star was going to be delivered through an arrowhead, I believe. If we remember,
I'm not certain that was the. I think they just might have been.
We found an arrowhead.
Right, but that also might have just been a metal object they had that they could blow up.
I can give you guys some information that will be helpful. You throughout all of your investigating, you never really found any indications that Brine Star was being made in large quantities. It's also difficult to make it in large quantities because it needs a component that's not even from anywhere around here. It's a rare, exotic, expensive component. They had some, and it was clear they were experimenting with it to see make sure the effects were what they thought it was going to be. What was being produced was the crackle powder.
Okay.
So let's say that, maybe your characters are imagining the giants and their allies, the enemy forces, they're going to come in they have the Brine Star.
Gotcha.
Brine Star without crackle powder is a much lesser, just like how those two alchemical weapons independently are harmful, but they're nothing that would, they're nothing compared to what happens when they get mixed together.
They're not C4 level. They're just
If you get shot with like a Brine Star tipped arrow, it's going to be worse than just getting shot with the arrow. But it's not like it's just going to automatically explode you into chunks.
Right.
It's just going to be this like nasty alchemical reaction in the wound, so it might deal like poison or acid or something to you.
Exactly.
Now, Vapor needed to do his interrogation.
Yeah.
So Vapor's going to walk up to him and is just going to look at him for a minute. And then calling on his innate magic is going to kind of have like lightning crackling in his hand. He goes, so, I'm only the first. I won't be the last. I recommend you talk to me because, honestly, they're going to be pushing a lot harder and be willing to do a lot more to get what they want.
Okay, this is dumb, but
don't matter if I talk to you or not. Your whole lot is fucked.
But it does matter, because you see, you're fucked as well. It just depends on how badly fucked.
Yeah, well, why don't you just kill me now, eh?
Oh, but why would we? See, what we would do is drag it out. And he's going to take the electrical corset on his hand and place it against his face. Pulling it back. As I said, we can do it a lot worse. But it's up to you on how worse it gets.
Vapor. Hold on. What are you doing? Step back, please. And he looks at him and sort of like he doesn't even say good cop, bad cop ? But he just sort of nods in a manner to suggest that.
Vapor understands what he's saying. It's fine. Take your chance at him.
Okay. Look, that's enough of that. My friend is a bit unhinged. I hope you realize that we're more reasonable than that. We are And Aygir's not the most charismatic guy, so he's a little bit struggling for words because he's a big, intimidating guy, and he just lifted his masked visor to do this. We can make this whole thing worth your while. For starters, I don't need to summon him back here, but I will if I have to. You know some things. We need to know some things. These two pieces of information can come together as metal and needles into an alloy. Do you catch what I am drifting? He says, his Elvish not being his first language.
You got me in a sore spot. See, either I'm gonna be tortured by you lot, or I'll help you with what you want to know, and then it's gonna be torture from the others, which is probably gonna be a worse one. So, yeah.
Oh, I can assure you one of them is worse, and Vapor, would you like to enlighten this man on which the worst option is of being tortured by the gods or tortured by us, by you?
I'm not worried about the gods. I'm talking about the old ones. After they get me, no. I think I'll take whatever this blue boy can do.
All right. Well, Aygir has tagged Vapor in for this one.
Vapor hearing being called Blue Boy goes, just grabs his head, both hands, and it's just shocking.
Vapor, don't kill him. We still need him.
What is Vapor's alignment again?
Yeah, what is Vapor's alignment? Now that he's acting very Adriel alignment.
Chaotic good.
Okay. Because Aygir is neutral good, and some of this might be he's a little bit pushing
Vapor is a little pissed right now, though.
It's a little pushing
It's
good.
chaotic good, totally. You're doing something that's not the right thing to do, but for a good intention.
It's going to save lives
sure.
in the long run.
This feels very chaotic neutral, in my opinion.
Well, it's going to save lives in the long run fairly directly. So
Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
So this fellow, he's pretty stubborn, and it seems to be that his biggest motivator is if he helps you all and tells you what you want to know, then when the giants come, he's just going to be in hell, in a world of pain that's even a worse hell than what you're going to put him through.
So Vapor is just like electrocute him, right? So I'll
give him a bit of a shock, yeah.
If he's still not talking, so are we on the outside right now? Like on the outside?
You're out back at the tannery.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not
Yeah, they got the crackle powder mushified so it won't ignite.
I'm going to walk up and just like grab him I don't know
permanent
by
damage.
yeah no permit. I'm gonna grab him by his scuff of his shirt. I'm gonna pull him back where no one else can see him and me, away from the guards, away from everyone, and get him into a little, I don't know, a room or a back alley or something, and throw him on the wall. If that's possible.
The shed where the crackle powder was being stored?
If that's the only place, then no, I won't do that. I guess I'll just pick him up and throw him on the wall.
Now, this is a moment of bad charisma, but Aygir is going to look over to Walykos while it's happening and say, "Whoa! Now I know how to control mine. You need to keep yours on a leash." Referring to Vapor and Adriel.
Watch your tongue.
Yep, and once I have him on the wall, I'm gonna pull out my dagger. I'm gonna put it right next to his neck. I'm going to say, this can go very quickly, or this can go very slowly. If you think that what your employer is going to do to you is going to be worse than what I'm going to do to you, then let me give you a taste. And then I'm gonna pull my dagger away from his neck, grab his hand, and then just slice off the tip of his finger.
All right, you grab his hand. He's manacled. You slice off the tip of his finger.
As soon as I hear him scream, I'm headed.
He's
in that direction.
yeah. he can't really move around. He's restrained, so he's flailing about, and blood is starting to like drip down.
Walykos shows up quickly.
Are you going to speak to us now?
You might as well just give me.
I'm going to slice off a bit of his next finger.
Adriel, stop.
I'm gonna say,
Does Adriel stop?
You want me to stop? And I'm going to slice off another finger.
Oh god!
I run over and I like grab your hand and I'm like, stop, Adriel. This isn't doing anything.
It'll get him to speak if he wants it to stop. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
going to
he's not
pretend
gonna
to fight against you a bit, like.
Yeah, well, I'll
Yeah.
resist you and I'll be like, stop, Adriel. This isn't going to solve this. We need to be smart, not stupid here, and just, hurting him to try and get him to talk.
Well, he thinks that what's going to happen to him later is going to be worse. So let's
We
show
don't
him
have
first.
time though to waste. There is a right way to do this and a wrong way, and this is the wrong way.
Fine, and then I'll like sheathe my dagger and I say, I'll give you 5 minutes with him, and then I'll walk away.
Who wants to roll skill checks? I'd like you guys to roll some skill checks. So
I'd be up for
Vapor and
something,
Adriel
yeah.
have clearly intimidated.
Yeah.
So you two roll intimidation. Aygir, yours sounded more like a persuasion.
Alrighty, he sucks at this, but here we go.
Yeah, we're not really.
Don't
the
we?
charisma
Wait,
party.
quick thing. We all have inspiration still,
You all
right?
have inspiration.
We do.
Yeah.
And because I don't know how many skill checks or dice I'm going to roll this session, I'm going to use mine right now.
Yeah, I think someone has double, technically. Because no, we didn't.
No, because I used
Vapor.
mine. And then
Someone used
yeah.
theirs and then they got
And then
it.
I
so
got it.
yeah,
That was
okay.
me. That was
Correct.
me.
14 for Vapor. I used it, and I actually rolled lower than my
I'll
first
go.
one. So.
I'll go ahead and use
Okay.
my inspiration too. I doubt I'm gonna get too many other. Well, I won't use my inspiration actually. Let me just.
What would you
normally
like me to make, Esper? Though I haven't really done anything yet.
That's true.
I roll the persuasion when you're ready.
Yeah, let's
Just
we'll
hold
do this
off
one
for
at a
a
time.
moment.
So Vapor got a
Yeah.
14. Adriel
I
got a
got
what?
I got an 18.
Adriel got an 18. Okay, Aygir.
Aygir rolled a 16, which means he also got a 14.
Oh my. All right. So, Walykos, you've not spoken with the
judging the
captive
situation.
much, but more the actual party.
Yeah.
So, how do you see yourself fitting into this situation?
I'm
do you
trying
think it's
to
more?
ass-
Is it more party interaction?
Well, I'm trying to keep Adriel from going full on Joker, on this guy. And that was my biggest thing is there's a right way to do this. Torturing him is not the right way to get the answers because we're on a time crunch. Torturing might need to be done at some point, but you don't go right to torture. He's clearly told us he's more afraid of them than he is of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to break his will a little bit, kind
Sure.
of break his resolve.
That's what
Walykos,
Adriel's
give me an
trying to do.
insight check.
Insight will work. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where his weak point is. I'm going to use my inspiration.
His fingers apparently are not. his
Inspiration
weak
was
point.
good for 22.
22. Okay. The three of you really didn't get anywhere with him. Walykos
I blame the
tells you what he
14s.
just. Walykos takes you all aside and tells you what he just told you. That as much as he is agonizing through the torture, and it's
Sucks. He doesn't.
it's
he doesn't
hurting
want-
him, and
Yeah.
he can't stand it.
We need to break
But he
his
knows
will.
something has shaken him to the core of his being, and he knows that whatever torture you do is not going to be as bad as what happens to him once Belvander and whoever else Belvander is working with. Once the giants figured out he went turncoat,
So let's.
and
not
he's
waste- Yeah.
he has some kind of greater level of dread than the physical pain. And Walykos proposes something, which
Yes, I was
is
going to say, let's not waste time torturing him. Let's take him back with us to Duncan and Crispin. I believe they have some either detect thoughts, and maybe we can probe his thoughts and get the answers we seek, or they might have a better suggestion on how to...
They made a dead man talk, so...
Yeah,
yes,
I was just getting ready to
them.
jump in with Source's Flay.
Yeah.
He has asked for death, let us give it to him. Then Duncan can use his Speak with Dead, and we can get the information from him that way.
I think there are things we can do without killing him.
He is an
first.
enemy. You've just slain enemies. Slay another one,
I don't
and
disagree,
we can get information
Sources,
from the corpse.
but he may not. He still could resist the Speak with Dead, and once that's done, there's no going back.
I believe it would be best to do Speak with Dead as a last resort.
Let's
In what
try
might be
detecting thoughts first. That might be a better way.
In what might be a faux pas, Aygir leans down and claps a hand on the shoulder of Sorcerer's Flay and says, "Out on the steppe, we have a saying. There is honor to slay the man who is trying to slay you. There is disgrace in slaying the man who begs for his own life."
But he is
Let us be honorable
he is
and not
scheming with a
disgraced.
clandestine network to slay scores, hundreds, thousands, who knows, to enslave all of Havenlife, the giants.
We need to get the information out of him, and there's only so much we can do with Speak with Dead. We need
Very
to
well,
try
we'll
and get
save the
them
Speak with Dead for a last resort.
Yes.
There's wisdom in that.
I'm not disagreeing.
Aygir and Adriel come in the same thing from opposite directions. I like that.
Samantha Vale, does your Tower Wizard have this ability to read minds, read thoughts?
He's asking you, Nick.
Wait, me? Oh, wait,
Yeah,
wait,
Sir
what- I'm
Mantevale.
sorry.
You're Sir Mantevale.
Oh, Sir Mantevale. Oh, sorry. What did he ask me again? Do I have?
Does your tower have the ability to read thoughts? and
Oh,
such?
okay.
He's
Sorry, I thought
asking.
he was asking Vapor about that because I
No,
didn't
no.
know magic. Sorry, I misheard. I'll
No.
say
He's asking about Duncan and
yeah, Duncan. Would I know this? Do they? I've seen them do Speak with Dead, but I don't think I've ever seen them do like.
either way, we
Fine,
need to
Matt.
take the body. It's better to walk the
Yeah.
body there than carry the body, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll say I think that my grandfather and Crispin are both extremely powerful mages, and they should have some sort of way of probing his mind or charming him to assist us. And if not,
There's many options if he's alive. There's
Yes.
one option if he's dead.
we should bring him back alive to my grandfather or to Crispin or to both if possible, and see what they can do with him being alive, because as Walykos has said, there's only one option when he's dead. We have a vast many options while he's alive.
So we can speak with them. None of us know if they can even perform this mind reading, but no sense in
They might have a different spell that would do the same purpose.
So be it.
So, let's go.
All right, so
put a
the
bag
general
over his
idea is
head.
that you get the crackle powder taken out on a wagon and you take your captive and you try to conceal that as to not...
I was gonna put a bag over his head, just tie it tight,
Yeah.
so that people can't see who he is,
We should
and also he can't see
News,
the
news is
pig.
going to spread
I'll-
that...
I'll
I mean,
also-
it's out in the open that all this
Doesn't
went
matter.
down at the tannery.
I don't want him to know where he's
But
going.
just a
I'll-
person who
I'll-
just sees him in passing won't know who it is.
I'll also put like a gag in his mouth so he can't like bite his tongue or anything.
Or
like, on the
shout.
way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. Good call.
exactly. Yeah,
He doesn't seem suicidal
but
yet,
just
but like
just in case.
better. Yeah, better to not get him pushed to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Good call. All right. To the storm tower.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 hour later.
Okay.
Nice.
That evening, you are in a interrogation chamber at Long Keep with Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hallows there with you. They're taking time away from working on the items, so that will make a little bit of a delay. Hopefully this won't delay them too much. They look very tired, but they're not complaining about that, and they are smoking Zagape to keep themselves perked up. And Source's Flay is there, as well as some guardsmen, yourselves.
Aygir, as we arrive, since he sees they're smoking some Zagape, will... I think he knows them well enough now that obviously he won't like share any information about his source, but he'll definitely give them just a little like dime bag of
not the grocery. No, not the grocery. That will take them down.
No. I mean, he says he's with the warning of say this for Veta. Obviously not now. No,
okay. It kind of was a mixed message where it's like here's some Groshin so you can like relax.
No, it's just a kind gesture.
They need coffee.
It's not that exactly. It's a kind gesture.
Groshin would be good when they're like trying to experiment with new magics and new mystical frontiers.
Right.
All right.
Anyways, that's fine.
Maybe some sacred rituals.
Yeah, it's report writing, not songwriting.
Bradley Flynn is in bad shape. He is.
I would
he's
feed
hurt.
him some good berries. Actually.
He's hurt.
Especially
He's had 3 tips of 3 fingers chopped off by Adriel.
Well, right after the finger chopping, I would have done a medicine check to like wrap them and fed him like a good berry or 2.
Oh, you're too nice to him, Walykos.
Well, you were fucking him up too badly, so that's on you.
You improve his conditions and tend to him some, so he's
I give
not
him
in
2 good berries,
a great deal of pain or going hungry.
and I give 8 good berries to the guy who got bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
He has
Gotta look after our
poultice
own.
bandage on the nasty bite mark on his arm.
Hopefully this guy's
This
aware
Bradley
of that.
Flynn does not have very pretty teeth, I might add. Rather crooked, and some of them are foul-toothed.
Hopefully he's not a were-rat.
Duncan Mantevale and Crispin Hallows
Do they have any spells?
do not have detect thoughts.
Do they have charm? Either.
Crispin is a wizard, so he has a spell book, but he doesn't have that spell in his spell book.
Okay.
He has a good number of spells, but it's not in there.
Are we just a quick question.
And in terms of what he has prepared right now that might help is he does have Disguise Self if there's some kind of trickery that may be necessary. He does have Locate Object prepared. He also has Locate Creature. And he says he has some other things, but those are what immediately might be helpful. From his spellbook, something that he could prepare tomorrow. He has Augury. He has Fabricate. And what else might be helpful? Maybe just those 2. Duncan says that he also has a Locate Object. He has a Speak with Dead prepared. Tomorrow he could get Zone of Truth prepared.
Oh,
here's
Zone
a
of Truth would be
question.
useful.
Here's a question, Esper. The Zone of Truth could be useful. Are all the barrels alike with the lead on them? You know, the lead barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be an object that I search for with Locate Object? Because I'm not detecting through the lead. I'm looking for literally a barrel with a lead lining on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would get
the
around
difficulty would be that it would start picking up any barrel that looks like that, and they're intentionally made to look like regular, just commonplace barrels.
But with lead lining the inside, like that's a very specific type of barrel.
Okay, I guess I was assuming lead just couldn't get picked up with Detect Object.
I don't know why it wouldn't. It blocks Detect Object, but if that's what you're looking for, I don't. It's up to you. I can see it argue either way.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Could you Detect Object barrels that are fashioned with a concealed lead lining inside?
I'm not detecting what's in the barrel, so it's not passing through the lead. I'm stopping at the lead.
I mean, if you just detected lead, would it be foiled by like window panes and stuff?
Well, no, we're not getting into that level of like trying to.
Okay, the spell can't locate an object if any thickness of lead, even a thin sheet, blocks a direct path. Okay, so that might have just been me making it up in my mind that lead was just like undetectable, like invisible to it, but that's not what that's saying. It's just saying that lead is a barrier that it can't get through. Okay, so I see what you're saying.
Do you think that would be a reasonable way of trying?
Seems to be, yeah. You just envision that barrel with the lead lining on the inside.
I can examine one of the barrels.
They're pretty heavy barrels as well. Clearly, whoever made those knows what's up. Yeah. And I don't think either Duncan or Crispin is shocked by that. You're dealing with intelligent, magic-wielding enemies that are plotting and scheming.
Now, that being said...
In the way that you're counter-plotting.
That's fair. That being said, they would need a delivery of the weapon to punch through a little bit of lead. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's entirely sealed lead... lead's kind of soft, but they need a drill tip on the arrow to basically punch through.
Something, it needs to be pretty substantial to get through the wooden staves of the barrel. Yeah. Would a regular crossbow shot or longbow shot get through that?
Crossbow might.
Maybe. It seems not completely reliable. Yeah. Would a giant's weapon punch through it? Yeah. Sure as hell would. Or some kind of like arbalest or scorpion or something. Yeah, probably.
So magic solutions. We don't have a magic solution in the spell book. It sounds like. I get that he offered.
I do have a number of divination magics at my disposal, though that is not my speciality. I am a transmuter by my study.
I gotcha. Well, he's so afraid. Do you have anything that could affect his mind? I know the disguise would let you, pretend to be someone else, but I feel like such a ploy would be doomed to fail without, more information. Trying to fool him into thinking that you're someone else that he trusts.
Well, what about this smoking mushroom that Aygir just gave to us? I mean, if he was administered a high dosage of that, might his altered state cause him to
It would not, no.
Be
that's
different?
not how that works. That's never been how that works.
Are you sure?
I've
used it before. Walykos is very familiar.
He is also not worthy of that. He's not approved.
I get whether he's worthy or not. If it works,
if it works, it works. Esper, do I know anything about the dosages and like if a high enough dose? Like obviously you don't use a high dose when you're just using it for regular casual use. But what if we overdosed him a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's drug the guy. I like it.
You think there is a chance?
I think there's a chance. Aygir.
It kind of depends how he reacts to it. Yeah. It might just make him really sick, or maybe he'll just be in such an altered state that his perception and his
I'd rather do this
disposition to
killing
things
him.
changes.
Like
I think
honestly,
we should go for it.
We're gonna speak with Dead tomorrow because you have to prepare the spell, right, Crispin?
It's Duncan. I have it available. I've kept it since we spoke to.
I think we should try this, and then if that fails, then we end him and we try to speak with Dead with the disguised person. How we did last time.
Yes, we have kept those spells at the ready since they worked such to our benefit against Mark and Oxivi.
Yeah.
So how are we getting him to forcibly smoke this stuff?
Well, easy. It's a smoke. We could do like a sort of a sensor, sort of like something that just fills his little space with the smoke.
Yeah, we just put a bag over his head and like put the smoke in there. Yeah.
You could, yeah. Esper, what do you think? Is there some way
best way
to make him breathe it in without, getting everyone around him?
Duncan and Crispin both stroke their chins. Crispin
Vapor-
says,
Yeah.
Why don't we stuff him into one of those lead-lined barrels? That's pretty well sealed. Just make a small hole and blow the smoke in there.
Won't
I
you
mean-
just... No, that sounds like that would kill him because he would die of suffocation.
Well, no, there'll be a little hole. He'll be fine.
The hole will be open. It'll be fine.
The smoke would be coming in. No air would be coming in.
Well, there's air in the barrel, enough for him to have some time breathing in the smoke, and then we can unplug the hole.
All right, but for a short period of time. I feel like this is a nat 1 idea. But yeah, let's try it briefly.
Wait, before we do that, I'm gonna say, why don't we just put a bag over his head and put the smoke in that way? It's a lot easier.
Can we do that, Esper? Is that a thing that makes sense?
Yes, perhaps a burlap sack, and then
The smoke kind of
That's
gets
what-
trapped inside.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean by bag.
feed the
yeah.
smoke in, and then tighten it around his neck, and give him a minute or so breathing in the smoke, and watch
And
air
we
is
keep
inside the
reapplying. Yeah.
Yeah, and then and
Hot
we
box
can
of
no, and
bag.
we can quickly
Hot bag.
and we can no, and we can quickly
Hot
take the
bag or
sack
hot
off his
barrel?
head and then
Yeah,
reapply it whenever we need to.
I think that makes a lot more sense than the barrel. The barrel seems a little bit crazy, to me. No offense,
Unless you
It
periodically
would be
open
rather
certain
cramped
breed.
inside there. That
Yeah.
would be a challenge.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with, the barrel idea. So
Alright,
let's
let's do this. Let's
all right,
switch it over.
so he gets a burlap. Like, is that the word? Is
just
that
a
the right
sack.
term? It's like a leather sack. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
gets
just
put
go
over his
sack.
head, and then like
we
it gets
feed the tube of
it
the...
gets tightened until there's
Exactly.
just like a tiny bit of space.
We just
and
put
then-
like a hookah tube in there. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have to go to like a fume hovel and buy one of their smoking, like their like long hose smoking.
What, the Storm Tower doesn't have
Hookahs.
their own?
Oh, it's a hookah. It's a hookah. Yeah.
Yeah, the Storm Tower doesn't have its own personal...
Yeah, like a hookah. Maybe it does, but that doesn't really matter. You can
No, let's-
procure one, and this is like into the
focus.
night hours. Your guys are all messing with this, and you finally get it set up right, and like
Yeah.
All right.
get it
Blow the
lit up,
smoke in. Yeah.
and like get it
Yeah.
get him smoked out. You smoke him out.
Yeah.
And you administer a really high dose, and
And
I'm going to do a roll.
Can Crispin disguise himself as... well, I can describe to him like... what's his name? Zelix.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
look like human form Zelix.
That could be useful.
He could use disguise self to look like a human, the humanoid form of Zelix.
And Aygir is not going to tell any Firbolg about this particular use of Grove Sheet.
Wait,
This
couldn't
is
the,
incorrect.
Wait,
Yeah.
could
Oh,
It is-
it-
it- this is
Super wrong.
yeah.
Wait, if he had-
this is definitely wrong.
What was you saying, Adriel?
Okay, I'm
No, I
I'm
was-
rolling on behalf of
The guy.
Bradley Finn.
That one.
He comes out of the haze of the Grove Sheen bag with his eyes glazing over and distant.
I think he's ready.
It must
He's
have
already.
been- The bread has gone bad. 17 years ago.
So he's really spaced out.
Yeah. He's super spaced out. We can focus him though. We've given him a
Crispin
good
Hallows
dose.
speaks with him one-on-one
Okay.
in a guise of a
Zelix. Human.
heavy plated figure with a severe spiky mask helm and these high platformed
Crispin.
steel plated boots
Crispin,
and a cape.
try to steer him in the direction of like, where did he take the other barrels? Where did the other barrels?
Yes, of course.
All right, so you all are just like waiting in the wings watching, right? And Crispin in his guise comes before the rather intoxicated Bradley Flynn.
Have you put all the barrels in their right places?
He makes a deception check.
Yeah, come on.
There's just one problem with the barrel. You're going to have to go to the bottom of the sea for that. That's where all the eels have their grand balls. Maybe I'll be an eel too. They're whispering in the walls.
So this interrogation goes on and it gets really weird. And
Yeah.
you just like, is he speaking in cryptic phrasing?
No,
What
I
is
think
he
he's
saying?
just really stoned. Yeah.
By the end of it, that's really what you all come down to, that he didn't really give any helpful information.
All right. Were we ready to kill him yet?
Crispin says, I don't think he took me as Zelix.
I don't think so either. You did. It was nothing that you did. I think the Grove Sheen didn't take on him as well as we'd hoped.
I told you, it does not have that effect. It just melts you out.
It totally. No, you don't.
When it seems like it doesn't work, like Adriel will pull out his dagger and say, "So, are we going on with this?"
Adriel, let us not be spilling blood. There are other ways of going about this.
Such as what did you have in mind?
Well, why don't we just put the bag back over his head and tie it tight and just let him pass away?
Why does he deserve why does he deserve such a painless death?
Because he'll remember potentially how he died, and he might be less, inclined to help the person who slit his throat.
That and why would we be having gore and blood spilling all on the floor here? That's
He
just
does make a practical
uncalled
point,
for.
Adriel. Yeah, blood is really nasty to spread all over the place. You don't want that on your boots.
And I'll resheath my dagger.
All right, bag over his head and just tie it tight. And
Is
let
there
him
is
asphyxiate.
there
This is Duncan Manteville talking.
is there no chance that we could wait on this still a time and maybe you could still locate the barrels on your own?
The problem is the barrels are lead based. We could try to hold off, but he has information.
I suspect that your detection spell would function for picking up such barrels.
It's true, but I don't know where to begin with those barrels. Like, we'd have to re-travel ground that we would, look for. Here's what we need to know. Does he have any people that he associates with? Like, who are his friends, his family? Like, who else?
Right, we have at least the code names of the two remaining operatives, right? There was the one who died. That was
Jib and Wormbait are the two ones left,
okay.
and Wormbait is a dwarf who apparently is on a ship headed towards the Cloud Step region. And Jib apparently is the son of Zelek, so he's like a half Emerald Dragon, and he was
that's right.
the one in like the full armor suit inside the submergible vessel.
Maybe that's who we need to go after, is finding out information about Jib and seeing, if we can track him down.
I mean, I don't have a locate creatures.
No, I know, but there's got to be a way other than relying on a spell. We need to like.
Crispin has locate creature. You can do it once per day.
Yeah, I don't think there are any other half emerald dragons in the city.
That's I think it should be a fair assumption.
Yeah. Let's see, locate creature. What's the range on that?
Duncan Mantevale is not in favor of killing this man.
I get it. The thing
for
is,
a number of reasons. One, we might get him to talk later. Maybe we can convince him later. Maybe being locked up in a prison for a great amount of time will make him change his mind. Maybe we don't get any information out of him, but the giants still attack and we win. We defeat the giants, and we can just keep him as a prisoner.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some reason why he did this. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he'll have a change.
I have been shown a great mercy, and I am not so willing to deprive others for the chance to receive their own opportunity for mercy.
All right. Here's what I propose to everyone. Keep, again, the same reason why we kept him alive the first time. There are many things we could try. Even though Crispin and Duncan do not have this magic, there's nothing to say that Vapor won't spontaneously learn this magic, or maybe there is
someone
even
can
someone
find
else.
a scroll.
Yeah, we could find a scroll. There's someone else that could learn detect thoughts or charm. You know, they're not. Charm is not a uncommon magic. It's a first level spell. So
Yeah, we could potentially just buy a scroll. Yeah, like you said. You know.
let's keep him alive.
Yeah,
but locked.
Crispin, his spells seem more inclined towards transmutation, abjuration, and a little bit of divination, a little bit of illusion. He doesn't have a lot of enchantment, evocation, necromancy. He doesn't have a lot of that.
I think we're all in agreement. Even
Duncan,
Adriel sees there's good reason to keep him alive temporarily.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I get where, like, maybe we'll get a fast answer if we cut his throat and, like, speak with dead. But we also
so that's Sorces's side. That's his argument. Sorces is we don't have time. Giants could be reaching the fiery channel any day now.
Sorces,
we know that.
Yeah,
and we know if we kill him, the Speak with Dead will have a high chance of working, and that's going to save us the precious time.
Now, Sources, I will say, though, we still would need to wait like a day, potentially. Give me a day to use my locate to try and find these barrels. We've had, look how much success we had in just one day, you know, with using these resources. We can always kill him and question him quickly. They'll take like an hour, maybe, you know. But I think we have till tomorrow at the very least.
That's reasonable for Sorces.
Cool.
Though, he makes it pretty clear that
He thinks we're
if we're not making good progress tomorrow,
yeah,
he's going to really be pushing and talking to the Duke, and he's like, he is basically saying we need to keep making progress really fast.
I get where he's coming from, and we'll revisit this tomorrow if we don't make it.
Okay, and Duncan is kind of the on the opposite end of the spectrum, that he doesn't want to murder this fellow.
He thinks if we take more time, we can find a solution.
Yeah. So Duncan and Crispin can go back to working on the magic items.
Yep.
So that's what they'll do. Are we having to pretty much wrap up session here?
I think
more or less. There wasn't there one or two other things we had left.
Okay. What else should we bring up?
Was there something previous before the session? Wasn't there something you told me about that Aygir was needed to look at or see?
And I mentioned this?
Yeah. Or was it something about when a conversation that he was going to have with Duncan Mandeville and Crispin Hallows?
Other than the magic item.
Yeah, there was something else about it, right? About a connection it had. Or something.
I think you're talking about the shard that Vapor has, maybe?
No, it wasn't that.
Nothing is immediately striking me. So, it's already nighttime. Adriel might be slipping out to do his dark deed this evening, perhaps. You do also have. Oh no, you're not, because you're waiting on that poison. That would be tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I do need the poison. Yeah, so.
So this
once I get
night,
that-
does anyone have anything that they are inclined to do or needing to do?
If we're just trying to fill a couple minutes, can I pray to the White Raven and see if she'd be willing to lend aid in the upcoming fight with the giants that are coming?
You and your White Raven. This is why Adriel is going bad. It's because of his White Raven.
It is totally not. You were going bad well before that. No,
Sure.
My thought is, if the White Raven can't directly intervene, she might point us to allies that we can make allies with certain powerful beings
Okay.
or factions.
Are you at home? Are you back at the Rook Tower when you offer this prayer?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm just gonna... I let you all know that, like, this is what I plan on doing. Yeah, I'm gonna be back at the Rook Tower.
Okay. So you go and to have a sacred moment.
The White Feather,
Yeah,
the God Feather.
Yeah, your personal religious moment. You hold onto the feather of Utsira, and you say the prayer. Do you have anything specifically you'd like to say?
Yeah. Well, it's not Utsira, it's her daughter, right?
Avasira is technically who is here. Yeah.
So I'm praying to Avasira, and I would like to say, daughter of the White Raven, Avasira, hear my call. I would speak to you and ask for your aid and wisdom in the hard times coming ahead. I need you to help with the giants that are coming to attack Barnacle. Please answer me if you can. Just simple, like, just to the point. Very simple. He doesn't have a lot of, he doesn't know how this is usually done. He's not, like,
Sure.
raised as a cleric.
I want you to make a skill check to go along with this. It's going to be wisdom. So we'll consider
Just
a
an ability
wisdom
check.
religion check.
Wisdom religion check. Understood.
I feel like Adriel is like in the other room praying to Belvandor. Like,
Why am I getting all the static right now? Okay, that's a 19 on the die, 24.
Woo, man, you're rolling hot.
Well, I haven't made many rolls, but I've gotten some.
Yeah,
good
you've been
ones.
rolling great this session.
I will say I
You
rolled
offer-
badly.
You offer
but-
the prayer, though you are not classically trained. You pray sincerely, and you have a connection. And Avasira appears right before you at the height of your prayer. She comes, the windows like flutter open, there's a gust, and there's this brilliant beam, and this beautiful white raven with slow wing flaps comes hovering and floating up there, and you are beholding her there through this open main window up there in the rookery.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
I am not far from you, Walykos. I am with you, and I am with this city.
Can
A great
I
shadow looms over these people.
I want to ask, you know of the giants coming. You know what I know, yes?
Enemies are descending, hastening through the great lava sea.
I would
Rancor that has festered and brooded for so long is now returning to slake its hatred, to yoke the elves, to reclaim what once was theirs.
I would ask that when the time comes that you would aid us directly or with servants of yours who could fight alongside the city against the giants. They have assembled their own forces. The dragon, at least the one dragon they had, but I'm sure Baal Vondor will have other, agents of his, powerful beings like a dragon. We will need to balance the scales.
I will be with you and all in this fight, Walykos.
That's all I can ask. Is there any other knowledge you can impart? Other allies that we could seek? I know that Corgain has left the city. He goes west to find a dragon who might join the fight. Is there anyone that you know personally, an ally that you might be able to convince? Be they god or merely...
There are 2 of House Mantevale.
2 of House...
Brother and sister. Young they are. They would be acolytes of the Master of Rituals. But he spares not the time, nor does he have the time to spare. But they pray in earnest every day and every night.
Who are they?
She does a sweep of her wings, and 2 feathers come down. Small, delicate feathers. Snow white and gleaming in an almost an incandescent way whenever light reaches them. And you collect those. Speak with Ella and with Jin. Ella and Jin of House Mantevale. They yearn to take up the mantle of Acolyte, to walk a divine path. Give them my blessing, show them the way, show them that their prayers have been answered, that I have heard their call.
So, I've burned the names into my memory. Just say I put them in my notes right now.
You may guide them, instruct them, so that their abilities will blossom.
And I know this is beyond perhaps what you're able to offer me, but is there any insight that you can give me on Baal Vondor's machinations within the city? The barrels, we've been tracking them down, his agents, anything that at all that you can point me towards. I don't like to...
Some things are shrouded even from myself, Walykos.
It was a long shot. I was just hoping for some cryptic words, perhaps, of wisdom, but I'll take what I can get.
You are a beacon illuminating the path that you walk. All those around you are benefiting from it. Do not lose faith in yourself or in me. Go with confidence.
I will. Thank you, Officer. Officer.
We will speak again soon. She will be helping defend the city.
Fantastic.
Thus far, the abilities of the White Raven seem to be more of support, but she must have some manner of attack, some manner of offense as well.
If she needs anything done, she just has to ask. Like, if she's like, prepare me a vessel, like, I will build her some sort of, ritual that will allow her to manifest or whatever.
There will probably be more on that to come. Your prayer was
come.
quite fervent, and she evermore perceives you as a
steadfast ally.
Yeah, like a favored soul.
Yeah.
And she gave you the names of Ella and Jin
Jin.
Mantevale. Brother and sister they are.
Do I know
she
who
said
they
they're
are?
younger.
Okay.
You know what? You might
because-
give me
just
just a D20 roll.
Just a flat D20.
Just a good
roll.
old D20, just a die of
They-
fate.
13.
Would these
13,
be my
okay.
cousins, by the way?
Yeah, they'd be like, cousins or third cousins of Adriel, or cousins removed. They're not in Adriel's immediate family, but they're of House Mantevale.
I
The
remember
names vaguely ring a bell to you.
I'm like, I think I've met them at
and
like
it seems like
dinner. Or
and
something.
they live in the actual storm tower, not one of the
Okay.
adjacent
I'll just
towers or
ask-
houses.
I'll
And they
ask
are,
Adriel
the
and-
would-be acolytes of the White Raven.
Yeah, and it sounds like they even wanted to learn from the Master of Rituals, but they never they're too low on the totem for him to notice them.
Yeah, he just literally has no time. He's already
Yeah.
sleep deprived and just bogged down and overwhelmed by everything.
Yeah,
Training
they-
and instructing some acolytes on their first steps along the path. Just
I'm happy to sort of plant the seeds.
and
for
him
the
and
future.
Crispin actually already have a couple of apprentices that are farther along. So,
Yeah.
and by farther along, I mean they'd be like like a level
Do we wanna
1 or
pause
something,
here?
right? Level 3 maybe at the most.
Do we want to pause here? So
This is a appropriate moment to pause things, and we'll shoot for playing then 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yep, the usual time.
All right, thanks everybody. Good game, and thanks everybody who is keeping up with MIRRORMOURN.
See you in
There are
October.
some interesting things to come. Boy,
Oh,
let
yeah,
me tell
definitely.
you.
We're
in
getting into it
many
now.
different ways.
Yes, indeed.
All right, everyone. Until next time, may your adventures be many